So we're here on this masterclass today to learn about EFT. And particularly what I wanted to share was the fast therapeutic results, okay? To feel at peace, to feel happiness, and to feel relaxed. Now, what I want you to share with me is whether you fall in any of these categories. So who is this seminar for? Have you ever had a headache or any kind of tension or pain? Give me a 1 in chat if you find that you fall in this category. Or maybe you're someone that's emotionally eating and you just wish you would stop emotional eating. I mean, I have been an emotional eater. In fact, recently, after many years, I noticed myself emotionally eating again because my mother had to go into hospital, and it caused so much anxiety in me because the very serious decisions that I had to take about her health, her wellness. And whilst I handled it beautifully and calmly during my time in hospital, I realized that when I came back from hospital was that I suddenly started to emotionally eat, and I didn't really notice it until my sister noticed it for me. And she said, Deepa, which is my pet name, she said, Deepa, what's going on? You seem to be, because I don't even like chocolates. And I chomped through a whole box of quality street chocolates. And if I'm going to eat chocolates, I prefer to eat sort of homemade, with cocoa and coconut versus having, very chemically laden chocolate. So, if this is an area, or perhaps you have a fear, or, sometimes people come on this training because they maybe have a phobia or a label like OCD. So, 1 for headaches and tension, 2 for emotional eating, 3 for if you have any fears or phobias. Now, sometimes people come on this seminar because they're just into health and wellness. They want to learn, they're into fitness, and they want to learn, a technique that helps them to stay fit. And I call EFT one of the best health insurances you can give yourself. And especially at this time of COVID, for example, where fair enough, vitamin B has got some benefits. And then, some people take vitamin C, but strictly speaking, there isn't really like a medical cure for it. It's like you have the flu symptoms. And where a technique like EFT can really help is it can help to have like health insurance to boost the immune system. So give me a 4 if you fall in that category, and give me a 5 if you maybe have, some acidity or some burning in the stomach, because EFT is very good, for example, for irritable bowel syndrome, for digestive issues as well, any stress related, bodily issues, maybe blood pressure, maybe cholesterol. So give me a number 5 for that. Now, some of you might be here because you just simply want to learn about an emotional or wellness therapy. Or perhaps you want to heal from within and free some of the limitations or limiting beliefs that you have. So give me a 7 for learning an emotional wellness technique. Give me an 8 if you just want to heal from within or learn about how you can heal from within. Or perhaps you're already in the helping profession. In fact, if I have any therapists, coaches, trainers, healers on the group, I would love it in chat if you could just put, psychologist, healer, therapist, coach, sound healer. Sometimes we have Ayurvedic therapists, we have nutritionists, we have yoga therapists. And if you're not into any kind of therapy whatsoever, but perhaps you're a parent, perhaps you work in an office, or perhaps you have a family. Yeah, lovely, clairvoyant channel. We've got psychologists, psychics, therapists, healers, fitness trainers. Fabulous, really great. So what I do find is those who are in the helping profession, really love to learn about different techniques, new techniques. And I love that some of you know Reiki, some of you know pranic healing, some of you are a happiness coach, some of you are counselors. That's absolutely fabulous, okay? And if you don't fall in that category, that's completely okay. You just have to be a human being. Like, I first came to EFT, I didn't know any healing. I didn't know any therapy. I came as a student to learn EFT because I had these debilitating headaches. Maybe you're here because you're seeking a new profession. Give me NEW here, who is seeking a new profession, maybe, or looking to add to their current profession. Give me ADD, looking to add to their current profession where they're already professionally qualified, but they've got that one client that maybe is just a little bit tough, and they're struggling with helping that one client unlock that specific thing, or they just would like to be able to help their clients in a much deeper and much more impactful way.
ये बाल्टी को धो के बाहर रख दियो
Now, if I
चलिए
haven't covered so
और वो
far,
उसमें तो वो नहीं है उस
you
बाल्टी
can
को उधर
write it
बात
for
में रख
me in chat right now. If I've missed it out, you can write it for me in chat right now. So I bring me and my angels. So you notice everyone wearing the angels. They are part of our assist team. So they already either trained as an EFT practitioner or they're certified as an EFT practitioner. And they'll be just checking everyone is also okay during this masterclass as well. Okay, fabulous. So now, some of you may be just curious to help a child or family member or release emotional patterns. Some come to boost their career, by the way, or just in revision mode. I notice I have a lot of old friends on this group actually who've done EFT with me before, and they've come to revise or done it with other people. So again, with all my heart, welcome, welcome, welcome. And in our time together, this is what I'm going to cover for you. I'm going to first cover, how do our emotions and stress contribute to ill health? Give me a Y in chat if you want to learn that. How do our emotions and stress contribute to ill health? The second thing that I'm going to cover is, how can you reverse the negative effects of stress and health? And I wished I had known this information early on in my life, and I wish it were taught in schools and universities and taught to children, because later on in life I found that I've had to go back to my childhood and clear some of the negative effects of stress as a child. And then I'm going to teach you what is emotional freedom techniques. I'm going to teach the 7 steps to emotional freedom techniques. I'm going to share lots of different case studies with you of those who have experienced EFT, so you can have a feel for the different types of things EFT works for. And I'll share the clinical data as well. And then I'll also share with you, because some of you have shared that you want to either add it or you want to learn something new. So I'll also share with you how you can add it to what you already do. And we have people like that as well on this particular masterclass, and they can share their experience depending on how we are for time. And then of course, I'll make myself available for questions, and I will take as many questions as there are questions. And if you happen to miss me with me answering your question, I'll give you the link to my Facebook page. I'll give you the link to our EFT Tapping Heals group as well. And you can ask me your questions on there. I wake up very early in the morning. I wake up at 4 a.m. So sometimes you'll find if you've posted on the Facebook group, I'm replying to you at 4 a.m. IST, because everything is quiet. There's no disturbance. I can feel into your question. I can channel it through, and I can answer for the highest good. Okay, so you're going to know everything you need to know to release stress in yourself and others before it becomes a bigger health problem like it did for me. For example, in my case, I was diagnosed with cancer when I was living in Florida, and I was working for a healthcare company because I was facing tremendous stress, going to work at 7 in the morning and then coming home at midnight because I didn't have an ability to say no. I wanted to make sure that I'd done a really good job, and I was burdening that stress more and more on my shoulders. And then it became a bigger health issue for me. The good news is, though, even though I have a PhD in cancer research from Oxford University. So I was diagnosed with the same cancer that was physically in my, that I studied in my PhD, and I wrote a clinical paper. And if you Google my name and cancer research, you will see that I've written a paper on cancer in the cervix. So the exact same cells were also in my body. So my mission is to help people not to get cancer, to give people that health insurance where they can learn something and use it on themselves to feel at peace, calm, and relaxed, and in control of one's emotions as well. And of course, we all have emotions. I know I do. And the past version of me would get very cranky, very moody, very, very angry and rageful almost. And it's like going through a process with EFT, working on myself, working in a team of these incredible angels you've met today, who are my mentors in confidence, who kind of shape me up, with letting go of the negative emotions to feel much more in balance. So what are some of the house rules for today? This is not a coaching and therapy session. So, if I were giving someone a coaching and therapy session, I'd send them a consultation form. I'd have a no obligation consultation call with them first. And then we would book a set of 6 sessions where each session is 1 hour, because in a coaching and therapy session, it's completely customized to exactly what that person needs. And it would be unethical for me to have anyone think that by coming on a masterclass that I'm going to be coaching and giving them therapy and working with some of the challenges or goals that they may face. However, if coaching and therapy is something you want to explore, wait till the end and I'll share with you, because we have an amazing team of practitioners and coaches that would love to support you on that. Now, this is also not a do nothing, feel calm. It's not like, oh yeah, I just have to do nothing and my stress is going to vanish away. This is also not a magic pill. This work is about, I'll teach you the skills. And then once you are aware of the skills, it's about using the skills. And then some of you might decide that you want to dive deeper into it and you want to master the skills, or some of you might decide that you want to go on a self-healing journey with someone to support you. And yet, let's stay open to what is actually going to unfold today. So let me give you the background about the science of stress and what's the reason, learning an emotional freedom technique like EFT is even valuable. Well, according to the AMA, the American Medical Association, 85% of illness is stress related. And the first time I found out about it, I was absolutely shocked that my emotional state could determine my health. Now, this is the next statistic. 90% of doctor visits are stress related as well. And 60% of those go and revisit because they haven't solved the stress. The 40% that solve the stress, they don't go back to doctor visits. Stress is also one of the leading causes of divorce, by the way. It's not actually the people, but it's I am feeling stressed. My stress now gets projected in my relationship. My partner gets stressed. My partner projects their stress onto me, and we fight and we realize we don't want to live together anymore. When I work with couples, the first thing that we do not work together. We work separately. Clear the stress with one person, clear the stress with the other person. And then I ask them the question, do you want to stay together or do you want to leave? And then we work on how do you build that relationship should they decide to stay together. It's also the leading causes of stress in addictions, by the way, as well as weight gain and obesity. Now, I came across a study that was done in California by an organization called Kaiser Permanente. I had the good fortune to meet the owner of Kaiser Permanente. It's a long-term care facility. It's like where your parents are aged and you can no longer take care of them at home, or they have kind of more chronic illness, like maybe arthritis and they can't walk. Maybe they've got diabetes and they can't take care of themselves. Maybe they're showing the signs of dementia or Parkinson's or Alzheimer's. Is you would put them in a long-term care facility where there are nurses and medical staff that can take care of them. And yet it's not a hospital environment, because it's sort of like a home hospital type environment. And the reason he did this is he just wanted to care for the elderly. And it's one of the largest studies ever done, 70,000 people. And what they found was those who had unresolved emotional upsets early on in life, and unresolved emotional upsets, for example, could be for someone, a teacher saying, shut up. Because for that person, they perceive that as traumatic. Or it could be something absolutely horrifying, like a sexual abuse or a violent or a verbal abuse type situation. And so emotional upsets, and for children, sometimes I work with children, it's not only the parent getting abusive. Sometimes it's the parent not talking to them and pulling their energy where they're like, Papa, Mama's really busy right now. You know, just leave me alone. I can't talk to you. And they don't talk to them and they stone cold them. And the child in that gap starts to make up what's wrong with them. And what's the reason their parent doesn't want to speak to them, and what could they do better? Now, what was incredible about this study is they found that these early emotional upsets early on in life, later on in life, it led to heart issues, lung issues, multiple sexual partners born from an addictive pattern, not from a lifestyle. It led to low confidence, and it led to overthinking and not believing and trusting in oneself. Now, this is the real thing though. What they also found is if they could find a clinically proven method where they could go back to those past emotional upsets, and they could clear those past emotional upsets in a healthy and wholesome way, what they found was they could reverse the medical effects. They could reverse the heart disease. They could reverse the lung disease. They could reverse the low self-esteem and the low confidence. And when I found out about that, it filled me with so much hope, where I just wanted to explore more about this particular field. Now, the final part of the science to set the scene about how negativity can lead to ill health. For example, suppressed emotions. Have any of you ever, give me a 1 in chat, and I know I have done it, bottled up your emotions. Like you felt it, you went, and you swallowed it down, or perhaps you ate it away. And sometimes we bottle up our emotions, not because of anything bad, but because we don't want to make anybody else feel bad. We don't want to push our negativity onto somebody else. And so we push it down, especially at this time of COVID, locked up in the houses, not going out as much, not being able to walk as much. You know, for children, it's really scary right now, because the main place children have is to be in the house, with the family, the parents, and that's become their everything. And they're missing out on going to school, physically in school, playing with other children. talking to other children, interacting with other children, and then letting off steam, going and doing sports, doing jumping jacks in the playground, doing karate, doing drama, doing art, because all these activities help to release the emotion and get the emotion out. And bottled up emotions, it's absolutely frightening what can happen with bottled up emotions. With bottled up emotions, what can happen, for example, with anger, bottled up anger, I think I've got it later on. Let me just have a look. I'll do it one by one. So suppressed emotions overall can increase the risk of cancer by 70% and heart disease by 47%. If there's one takeaway, if you can get one takeaway for yourself and the people in your life, might be to support them to really let out their emotion. Sometimes I have parents call me and they're like, my son, my daughter, they get so angry. How can I stop them getting angry? I said, please don't stop them from getting angry. Instead, give them like a karate stick in their hand and have another karate stick in your hand and fight it out with karate sticks and get that energy out of their system. Give them a pain. Let them bash that pillow and get all that energy out of their system. Yeah. And so, because it's better out than in, like if you vomited, would you go, oh yeah, I'll just suppress it and I'll just put it back down? You wouldn't. You'd go, bleh! You'll take the vomit out. And similarly, take that emotion out. Even with sadness, for example, grief, sometimes in the culture, it's like, be strong. Yeah, no need to cry, And it's like, that's the worst thing you can tell somebody, because what they need to do is completely cry it out, because unexpressed grief is linked to a weak immune system. And it's also linked to a reproductive system that's not healthy. So, really encourage yourself and the people in your life to really get it out. And I'll give you some fun techniques today that you can do as well. It doesn't only have to be like beating up a pillow. And certainly, I'm not saying go home and you've got your partner. They're like, yeah, I learned to do that by beating up. I let go of my emotions, which means, I'm not going to get cancer and heart disease. So just stand in the corner so I can begin to do it. I'm not asking you to do that. Please don't do that. I'm asking you to find a mechanism to let it out. Okay. Now, the next part, unexpressed anger is also known to be directly linked to cancer. Holding on to unforgiveness. I want to go back to anger for a second, actually, because sometimes I find in the culture, I could be wrong, sometimes I find in the culture that there's two types of anger. One is pressure cooker anger. Gussa nahi karungi, I'm not going to get angry, I'm not going to get angry, I'm not going to get angry. And then like a nuclear weapon, suddenly from nowhere, this big rage suddenly comes out. Give me a 1 if that describes you. Now, sometimes what can also happen with anger, it's snappy anger. It's not like pressure cooker anger. So you have your hair like, bing, I don't get angry. I'm not an angry person. And suddenly someone does something to trigger you and like, get off me now. And you do like crocodile snappy anger. And then you judge yourself. You're like, how could you get angry? You shouldn't have got angry. And you feel so guilty and you're an angry person and you're a bad person. And then now you've got like suppressed emotion that tried to come out, emotion that came out, and then emotion was judged, and then the emotion was suppressed again. And so I really encourage you to have a mechanism to get that anger out of your system and teach it to your kids and do it with your kids as well. Now, holding on to unforgiveness as well, by the way, can lead to diabetes, pain, and heart attack. The act of forgiving, and sometimes it's just simple forgiving. It's like, you know what, this is the role I played. And I choose to forgive you. And every year I go through an annual exercise. And there's some cultures, that forgiveness is an integral part of the culture. And I love that, where they go through a process of atonement and self-forgiveness and forgiving other people. So what can you do? Figure out a way to release stress. Number 2, to use a clinically proven method to free suppressed emotions. And what can you do? Step 3 is to learn a method to let go of the past emotional upsets and trauma to be able to feel healthy, calm, and at peace. So on this note, let me get started just by showing you a couple of things right now. Now, one of the ways I work, though, is I work by live participation and active participation. Because there's a way I find when there's this active participation going on, that a group consciousness, a group energy is created. And we not only get to let go of our negativity, but we create that atmosphere for all of us too. So please just give me a 1 in chat right now. If you are like up for it, yeah, I'm going to fully participate. I'm going to give this everything. I'm going to learn the technique to be able to let go of my emotion. And then, you choose the technique that's going to work for you. So the first one that I'm going to teach you, you need to put your hand just below the collarbone here, just below the collarbone here, just below the collarbone here. And if you just, I'm just going to go and have a look as well. And we've got our angels taking a look around as well. So you can also have a look at our angels if you're unsure. Just come here at the collarbone. Step 1, just tap here gently first. Lovely. I can see that's great. I can see some of you doing that. It's really fabulous. That's really great. Lovely. That's step 1. Step 2, in a moment, I'm going to get you to make an R sound from the voice. The reason I'm going to get you to make an R sound from the voice, you see, something like an anger needs an expression. It needs a mechanism to come out. And so we'll tap here and then we'll make an R sound together, okay? Then after we've done that, we're gonna turn it up. You're gonna like do your feet. You're gonna move your feet like this, up and down, up and down, up and down, because you're gonna move like the. So you ready? 3, 2, 1. So do it here. 1.
Something 1 minute.
And so I was going to spotlight some of you so I could see you doing it with me. Excellent. So there's some people with me so I can see them. Shake a leg, shake a leg, shake a leg. Lovely. Add some people so I can see them with me. Let's begin again. Spotlight some people with me. Begin again. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Keep going, keep going. Lovely, Lauren. Fabulous, Lauren. What else do I have? Kavita. Hey, Swami. You're with me. That's great. You Hi, Louisa. Good. I think you've got that. You've got that. That's really good. So the first is that you tap your hand on the collarbone. Hey, Sheena, I just saw you. And you go very gently here. And then you make an ah sound. Ah. And then shake your legs. I didn't see you guys shaking your legs. I want to see some of you shaking your legs. Lara, you're doing fab. Let's do this. Ah. Lovely. Fabulous. Good. And as you breathe in and out, just share with me in chat. How does that feel that you got a chance just to let it all out? You got a chance. Give me a 1 if it felt really good. Give me a 2 if it didn't feel good. It's also allowed not to feel good. Maybe some of you are like, no, I didn't like doing that at all. My accent just changed, by the way. I must let you know, I'm born in Singapore. Then I moved to Hong Kong. Then I lived in the north of India in Delhi. Then I lived in the south of India in Hyderabad. And then my mother and father moved me to London. So I did my schooling in London, my early schooling in London. And then I was in boarding school because I moved to Africa. And then Baba was in Africa and he had a chance to go back to India. And he said, "What do you want to do, Deepa?" Deepa is my pet name. He said, "Do you want to stay in boarding school or do you want to come home to India?" And I hadn't, most of my life was away from my parents because my dad had a moving job. And I said, I want to go back to India. And we had the most amazing 2 years in Mumbai. So, sometimes my accent flits, sometimes it's Indian, sometimes it's English, sometimes it's Australian, because I probably, lived in so many different countries that it's all got very confused. Okay. So can I have your permission just to be myself though? And no matter what my accent is like, that it's completely okay. Okay, lovely. So I've shared with you the first thing that you can do to release tension. And let me move on to the next part of the presentation. Now, emotional freedom techniques has been clinically shown to work to help people overcome stress, to eliminate pain, to heal the past, to defeat phobias, to heal past trauma and accidents, to stop cravings, to break through limits. And there's also clinical studies where EFT has been used in the classroom as well, because I have a PhD in cancer research from Oxford University, which I did with a full scholarship. And that's like another whole story in my life where I had to clean, I've never eaten beef in my life, and yet I needed to earn money. So I worked in the restaurants and I used to clean plates with like beef bolognese on them to be able to earn, £10 an hour to save up money to pay for my education. And so, when I discovered that there was a study done on children in the classroom as well, and how EFT is clinically proven for children in a classroom environment as well as adults as well. Now, the most notable study on EFT, though, is in something known as PTSD. Give me a 1 if you know what PTSD is. Give me a 2 if you don't know what PTSD is. PTSD, known as post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Basically, it's stress as a result of trauma. Stress as a result of trauma. Where the trauma can be, for example, losing a loved one. If you had a parent that suddenly passed over, that's very traumatic. It can also be losing a job. That's another example of trauma. Another example of trauma is having an accident happen, a car accident, a motorbike accident. Another example of trauma can be verbal abuse. Another example of trauma is a health diagnosis, for example. So these studies were done on people who came back from the war in Vietnam. That's extreme trauma. And the people who gave them the EFT process were not psychologists, by the way. They had been trained in EFT, and it was the first healing method that they had learned and were trained in and certified in. So they were very basic and starting off in this journey. And what they found in the study was after 6 sessions of EFT, 90% were free from the post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. And the symptoms include overthinking, mood swings, happy, sad, tearful, hypervigilance, waking up at night, night sweats, not being able to engage with people, where they were free from those symptoms. And great, they were free from the symptoms, but what was staggering was they could now engage with their family. They could now have a relationship again with their partner, their wife, their children, their husband, which they couldn't before, and they were on the brink of divorce. The other study that has also recently come out has been on weight loss. And the study compared EFT to another technique called cognitive behavioral therapy, which is based on counseling and psychotherapy. And what they found was both methods work for weight loss. The difference with EFT was they found the cravings were still reduced even a year after the study was complete. The weight loss stayed even a year after the study was complete, which they didn't find with the group that received cognitive behavioral therapy. Then the next part of the experiment was does online sessions work? And so then they did online sessions for weight loss. And again, they found that people still lost weight and reduced their cravings with EFT online as well. The other data for EFT is also on reduction in test-taking anxiety, reduction in depression, which was 73% in college students. How many of you ever been a college student? Give me a 1. And maybe you knew someone in college who was depressed. Give me a 2. Maybe you yourself have been faced with depression sometime in your life. Give me a 3. Maybe you know people in your life who are depressed. Give me a 4. The amount of pressure a student goes through, or even an employee at this time. You know, I was speaking to one of the companies I work with, the head of HR, and she said, Rangana, burnout ho gaya. हमको मालूम नहीं कि दिन कब शुरू होता है, दिन कब खत्म होता है. It just goes on and on. Like work, home is the same thing right now. And मैं एकदम cope नहीं कर सकती हूँ. And you know, the employees are like, देखो काम करने का करो, नहीं करने का hand in your papers and tata baba see you. And she's like, we don't have a choice. And so I said to her, I said, you know, offer EFT for your employees to help them and support them so that they, you know, this doesn't carry on for the life. Even sports people, athletic performance, it's been shown on basketball throws. We do some work with the Indian cricket team as well, and EFT to help ace their game. Improvement in pain. This study was done on 216 healthcare workers where they found an improvement in pain. It's been used on patients with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is like debilitating muscle pain, where EFT reduced the pain, the depression, the anxiety, and the mental health. And it's also been shown for small animal phobias as well. Now, so far, just share with me, what's your takeaway about EFT and working on these different types of things? Give me, what did you know that it works for stress? Give me a yes or no. Did you know that it works for depression? Give me a yes or no. Did you know that it works on fibromyalgia? Was that something new for you? Did you know that it works on weight loss and it works on phobias? So some of you knew, some of you didn't know. Now, there was another study done where a nutritionist took a prick of blood and she looked at the prick of blood under a live microscope. Live microscope means the cells are still moving around. And what happened is these patients, they received 2 minutes of non-specific EFT. And she looked at their cells under the microscope, and the red blood cells were free flowing like you see here in this picture, versus clumped up how you see when someone's having a heart attack. And she compared it to the group who did not receive EFT. And she found that some people had clumped up cells and some people had free flowing blood cells. And this nutritionist said, I might as well tear up my papers on my nutrition degree, because if I would have seen clumped up blood cells, I would have put them on a year's worth of nutritional supplements. And here they've just received 2 minutes of EFT and their red blood cells are freely flowing throughout the body and less likely to clump and cause heart issues later on in life. Now, this was a study done by a lady called Pete Stapleton, who's in Australia, and she's also done a TED Talk, and I'll share those links with you at the end of this talk. And she looked at some of the health markers. So the first one, cortisol, is a stress hormone. And what she found, when patients received EFT, cortisol came down, pain came down, anxiety came down, depression came down, PTSD came down, resting heart rate came down, blood pressure came down, food cravings came down. But the one I loved the most is happiness came up and immune system markers came up. So I'm going to, on that note, teach you something for the immune system markers. Wouldn't you like to learn that, especially at this time of COVID? And so one of the things that you can do, and again, play full out with me, one of the things you can do is you have to find this breastbone type area. It's a little bit hard. Just go ahead and touch this breastbone area. It's a little bit hard. And if you have found this sort of harder place, just tell me, yes, you found it. It's like a bony area, yeah? And you make a fist like this. It's a gentle fist, okay? A gentle fist. It's not a tight fist like this, okay? A gentle fist. And as you make a gentle fist, you very gently just tap like this. It's known as a thump, a thymus thump, just very gently. And then you can also make a very gentle ah sound. Ah, and you sound like Tarzan a little bit when you do it. Ah, this is increasing your immune cells right now, by the way. Your white blood cells in your body are increasing as you do this. I mean, you've not taken any vitamin C right now, and it's going up in your body. So keep doing it with me. And as you take a breath in and out, go ahead and just get a little sip of water. Go ahead and just get a little sip of water. And today I want you to drink more water than normal. Because some of this work that we're doing, what happens is that the toxins start to release into the bloodstream. So you need to drink water to flush it out from your bloodstream, okay? Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to share the next part right now. So far, can you give me a yes in chat if you're clear that stress and health are related, and you're clear that a technique like EFT reduces stress, a technique like EFT helps the health markers in the body, and a technique like EFT has medical benefits too. Thank you. Okay, now it's also been used by some celebrities as well. There's a celebrity in the United Kingdom called Lily Allen who's used it for her weight loss. Madonna is also known to be a really big fan of EFT. There is a performer, he does musicals. His name is Michael Ball. He uses EFT before he goes on stage to manage his performance anxiety. Camilla Parker Bowles, who is the wife of Prince Charles, she has been known in her autobiography to talk about EFT to help her reduce her fear of flying. Olympic athlete Barlan Taplin has been seen to be using EFT before his races. Whoopi Goldberg used EFT for fear of flying. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is there are so many people out there who want to experience it with a certified and qualified practitioner, but they can't find always the person of the highest level, that's been through that highest level of training. That's why I'm on a mission to have people trained, certified, that can work with celebrities, work with sports personalities, work with people who have medical and health issues, and really help them take it to the next level. Now, we also have some so-called gurus in the health and wellness field who also have endorsed EFT. For example, Paul McKenna, he's a hypnotherapist, and he introduced EFT into his hypnotherapy, and he found quicker and better results. Deepak Chopra, the famous medical doctor from Harvard University, who's also a big follower of Ayurveda, he has endorsed EFT. Louise Hay, she has passed over now, who was the founder of the Hay House and did some incredible, amazing work on how to heal the body and emotions. And she has also shared that how the power of EFT can help those affirmations go so much deeper. Naomi Harris, who's one of the Bond girls, who's written a lot in the press about her being faced with her own emotional issues as a performer, and how a technique like EFT has helped her lower her anxiety and her performance issues. And then, of course, we've got Candace Pert, and you may not know who Candace Pert is, but Candace Pert was the person who found something known as the opioid receptor. So without Candace Pert, we may not have discovered pain medication to the way we have today. So what she said is EFT is destined to become the next antibiotic. So antibiotics was an incredible invention when it happened, because before antibiotics, there was nothing there. And in her book, Molecules of Emotions, what she shares is, as our feelings change, this mixture of peptides travels throughout our bodies and our brain and changes the chemistry of every single cell in the body. So just by managing our emotions, all we have to do, that we get to change the chemistry of the body. Now, there is EFT and then there's EFT. So, when I first came across EFT, there was EFT, on YouTube, there was EFT free manuals, and then I've come across so many, mujhe pata hai, I've learned it, maine seekha hai, I've seen the tapping sequence, I've read the book. But then there's clinical EFT, which is the EFT used in the kind of clinical studies I've shared with you. Because what happens is sometimes we have people and they've watched a YouTube video, they've got the manual, like it didn't work for me. And the reason it didn't work for them is they didn't learn EFT clinically. And let me share with you now where I started my EFT clinical journey. As I shared with you, I was diagnosed with cancer in 2001. I healed that cancer without chemotherapy or any surgery, using alternate therapy and coaching. Then at the time of my cancer, I also used to get daily migraines, and I would get this pain down my neck and my shoulders. And I remember I was in my sister's house. And as I was in my sister's house, she was teaching EFT to a group of students. In fact, it was her first EFT class. And being kind of a non-believer in those days, because I came from this medical background and anything alternative was weird, unacceptable, witchcraft, and I kind of just pushed it away. And I had a really bad headache that day. It was a 10 on 10 headache, and I was so used to taking my paracetamol and cocodamol. And Ma said to me, and I think mums develop something known as a selling gene, and I think dads do it too. The minute the baby pops out of the womb, it's like the parent knows how to influence the child. And the parent can use so many different types of selling techniques. And my mom settled on manipulation on this particular day, which is, I'll give you EFT and I will also reward you if you say yes. It's like if you've got a child, they're not drinking their milk, doodh pee lo, you drink the milk, and I will give you something else. It's like probably the worst tactic a parent can use. Like a much better one might be through education. But anyway, it worked for me. And I'm like, Mom, I wish you were my stockbroker. Like, no matter what, I let you do it, and I'm going to win, and I'm not going to lose anything. Because my mom knew what my leverage was. And my leverage was I loved head massages. So Ma said, Dekho, beta, I'll give you EFT. Okay? If EFT works, I'll give you a head massage at the end. If EFT doesn't work, I'll give you a head massage there. I said, hey, wow, this is amazing. No matter what, mujhe head massage mil jayega. I said, Mom, this is great. I'll do it. I'll do whatever you tell me. So Mama said to me, Deepa, which is my pet name, आपका headache कौन सा number में है? And I said, 10 में है. And she said, headache क्या रंग है? Headache क्या रंग है? Translate for me in case some people can't understand Hindi. What color is the headache? And I was like, huh? मम्मी पागल हो गई. Headache रंग कैसा हो सकता है? And then suddenly before I knew, मुंह से red निकल गया. Red. I was like, oh, हाँ, red. Red. Headache is red color, mama. I am pagal khana with you. Together we are going today at the end of today, huh? And so then Ma said, ठीक है. So 10 है and is color red. And then Ma said, चलो हम tapping करते हैं. So she said, let's start tapping. And then Ma asked me, so you do it with me. हाँ, मैं आपकी मम्मी सब बन गए अभी now. I have become your mother for the next 5 minutes. So just go ahead and tap on the karate chop here. And our angel assist team will follow along so you can see them and you can see where they are as well. And then she just said to say out loud, even though I have this headache, I love and accept myself. Someone is following along with me. I love that. You can turn your volume up even more so I can really hear you. Even though
I actually have a headache.
Even though
I
I have this headache,
I have this headache.
and it's a 10 on 10.
And it's a 10 on 10.
I love and accept myself. I just want one person. One person. Okay? Like, then she third statement, even though I have this headache and it's red in color
and it's red in color,
and it's a 10 on 10,
And it's a 10 on 10.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
So I did that with Ma, and then Ma said tap on here. And this is known as the eyebrow point. And Ma said headache.
Headache.
10 on 10.
Headache.
10 on 10.
Headache.
Headache.
10 on 10.
10 on 10.
Headache.
Headache.
10 on 10.
10 on 10.
Headache. 10 on 10. Atisha, unmute with me. Headache.
Headache.
10 on 10.
10 on 10,
10 on 10.
Headache.
Headache.
10 on 10.
10 on 10,
Red
10 on
headache.
10.
red headache,
10
Red
on 10.
headache.
10 on 10,
Red headache.
red headache,
10 on 10. And then
10
Ma
on
said, come back here, even though
even though
I have this headache,
I have this headache,
it's a number 10,
it's a number 10,
it's red,
it's red,
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
And then Ma said, take a breath in and out. So I just took a gentle breath in and a gentle breath out. Lovely. And then Ma said to me, what number is the headache at? And I thought to myself, headache to abhi number 7 hai. मैं मम्मी को बताऊं या नहीं बताऊं? मैं बोल दूं मम्मी को 10 है. Because my pride got in the way. I didn't want to admit to her that my headache had actually got better. So then I said to Ma, my headache is at a 7. I admitted it. So then she said, how does it make you feel knowing you have a headache? And I teared up a bit. Like, you know, she managed to kind of penetrate that exterior of mine, which was don't get close to me. And I said, it makes me feel weak. So we did a second round. Do it with me. Atisha, unmute and do it with me. Even though I have this headache
I have this headache
and it makes me feel weak.
and it makes me feel weak.
It makes me feel helpless.
It makes me feel helpless.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Makes me feel weak.
Makes me feel weak.
Makes me feel helpless.
Makes me feel helpless.
Makes me feel weak.
Makes me feel weak.
Makes me feel helpless.
Makes me feel helpless.
Makes me feel weak.
Makes me feel weak.
Makes me feel helpless.
Makes me feel helpless.
Makes me feel weak.
Makes me feel weak.
Makes me feel helpless.
Makes me feel helpless.
So helpless.
So helpless.
So weak.
so weak,
so helpless,
so helpless.
so weak. Even though
Even though
I have this headache,
I have this headache,
makes me feel weak,
makes me feel weak,
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Thank you so much, Adisha. And then my mom said to take a breath in and out, and my headache went down to a 0 just by the short 2 rounds. My pride did get in the way. And I said, Ma, it's a 3. It's worked, but not worked fully. And yeah, just give me that head massage now. And as she gave me the head massage, I reflected. I was like, wow, something really happened today, but I'm not sure I'm ready to open up and express all my emotions. And I secretly went online. And I was living in a city in the north of England called Hull. And I looked up all the different types of EFT training. And I booked myself on an EFT training, and I never went to work on my headaches. On day 1, I worked on stress and physical tension in my body. And I learned how to work with cravings. And I learned how to work with a past memory. On day 2, I learned how to work with more complex memories. I learned how to work with fears, with phobias. I learned how to work with limiting beliefs and limiting thoughts. I learned how to work with other people as well on Skype, on telephone. And I just went through the motions in training. I also learned how to work with children and how to work with animals in that initial training, which is the same training that I teach as well online. And then I left the training, and it was a 2-hour drive from a beautiful city called Ilkley to a city where I work called Hull. And as I got home, I realized, because I used to have daily vomiting migraines, I would go to sleep with it and I would wake up with it. And I said, headache nahi hai, kya hua? And slowly, I noticed my headache went down to once a week. And then it went down to every 2 weeks. Then it went down to every 3 weeks. Then it went down to once a month. And then it went down to every 3 months and every 6 months. And then what I found eventually is that I only would get 2 to 3 headaches a year. Normal. Just like any other human being. And so what I would love to do right now is I'd love to actually share the tapping steps with you, okay? And what I'm just gonna ask, while I share tapping sequences with you, if you can just refrain from chat right now. So all the focus can just be on me sharing these tapping sequences with you. I'll take questions at the end. So they will make a note of questions. She's not going to send me questions right now because my focus needs to be right here. She'll make a note of the questions you have. And then I promise you, I will not leave this masterclass till I have answered any questions that you have. I really want to share the steps with you now, though, step by step. Okay, so let me find it and get started. I'm not going to take any questions right now. I just want to go through the steps with you. Okay, so there are 7 steps to EFT. The first step is to identify the issue or the goal. Sometimes people come because maybe they have an issue like physical tension or stress. Sometimes people come because they have a goal. Maybe they want to make more money, or they want to boost their career, or they want to overcome a limiting belief. So the first step is to identify the issue or the goal. The second step is to get a measure for it. So if it's a goal they want to achieve, I usually ask them what prevents you from achieving that goal. And I get a measure of what prevents them and what emotion that is. Or if it's an issue like a physical tension or a stress, I'll say to them, what number is that physical tension or stress at? Step 3 is to start tapping on the side of the hand. And we're going to go through it step by step. Step 4 is to tap on the upper body points, and I'm going to show them to you. Step 5 is where you close the sequence. Step 6 is where you relax. And step 7 is where you test. So step 1 is where you identify the goal or the problem. So if I were working with a client, or for example, if I were teaching our students to become practitioners, I would teach them to ask the question, what do you want? Or what issue do you want to solve? And how does it make you feel? That's one, it's sort of a set of questions. Step 2 is to get a measure of it. So I might say something like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give this issue? What number would you give this emotion? What number would you give this problem? What number would you give not being able to realize this goal? Where 10 is it makes you feel uncomfortable, and 1 is not uncomfortable at all. So, and the language is very specific. Uncomfortable, not uncomfortable. I don't say, makes you feel comfortable. I don't know. So the languaging is very specific how we teach it. Step 3, you can do it with me. Start by tapping on the side of the hand. And we say the phrase out loud. Even though, Atisha, unmute, even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then we do that 2 more times. I'm going to do it 2 more times. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Thank you. So this statement has 3 parts. Even though, iske bawajood, and Mitu, if you can unmute in a second so you can give the Hindi version too. Iske bawajood, halaki, even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. First part, I have this problem, even though I have it. Second part, this problem. Third part is I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So Mitu, I'm just going to stop share. Great. Can you do the tap? So for those of you who speak Hindi, you can follow Mitu along. And if you don't do Hindi, Sudha will write the English in chat and you can just speak along with the English words instead. Mitu, will you go ahead and lead us?
भले ही मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम हो रही है या दर्द हो रहा है मैं फिर भी अपने आप को पूरी तरह से प्यार करती हूँ और स्वीकार करती हूँ
भले ही
मुझे ये दर्द हो रहा है मैं फिर भी अपने आप को पूर्ण रूप से प्यार करती हूँ और स्वीकार करती हूँ.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mitu. That was absolutely fabulous. And Mitu, if you can just write it in sort of Hindi, English on chat also, so then people have it, and then we'll send it to them afterwards as well. Thank you so much for doing that, Mitu. So that is known as step 3. Uske baad step 4 hai. So I've done 3 times here, and step 4 is when we tap on the upper body point. So just do it with me. This is the first one, which is known as eyebrow. This is the next one. And the assist team, I'm going to have a look in gallery right now as well. And if you want to be able to make eye contact with someone who has the angel halo, you can make eye contact with them and you can tap along with them. This is the temple point here. It's in this dip here. If some of you saw my funny video on Facebook on what are not the tapping points, the right one is actually in the dip. And then it's under the eye here, just above the cheekbone. Good. Under the nose. Very good. Excellent. You guys are doing so great. Wow. The chin. Now, chin point is actually over here. And actually over here, it's very, impractical to have like this. And so instead over here works really well. Over here works really well. This is the chin point. Then this is the collarbone here, just underneath. So it's not on the collarbone. Once I was working with a client, she was doing all this kind of stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness, calm it down under the collarbone, because otherwise she's going to be booking sessions with me for the trauma she got as a result of EFT. So under the collarbone. The next one here is under the arm. Under the arm. The next here is on the finger. So I use the finger points by them. The reason I use the finger points is I'm covering all bases. I'm covering all bases because there's a lot of energetic meridians on the hands as well. So the finger points. We leave this finger out because the meridian is on this side. And the founder, Gary Craig, who developed it, didn't have a lot of confidence in his fellow Americans, thought they would forget. That was his limiting belief, by the way, not mine. And so we just leave it out because also the finger is also covered on the face as well. The little finger. And then we close by coming back to the karate chop. And so the way the tapping step works, step 4 works, is we would tap on the points while saying the words that belong to the problem. So this problem, 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 this problem. Now, EFT is a truth process. It's not a denial process. So if someone has a fight with someone and they feel bad about it, they're not going to be like fakely, just let the matter go. They're going to say, no, I had a fight and it was my fault and I did it and I love and accept myself. So this is step 4, which is tapping. Step 5 is known as closing. So after you finish the under the arm and then you do the fingers, you come back here at the karate chop and you close it. And Atisha, say it with me again, just unmute. Even though I have this problem, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Lovely. So we close by just having the sequence once at the end. And then the next step is to just relax and just take a gentle breath in and out. Take a sip of water. And then you just reflect on how you are feeling. You just reflect on how you are feeling. And you move to step 7, which is known as testing, where I would teach our practitioners in training to ask their clients, how are you feeling? What happened? And no matter what the client responds, they say, whether the client says worse, same, or better, the practitioner is trained to say great, great, great. The reason we say great, no matter what the response is, number one is we're rewarding the unconscious for speaking the truth. We're saying to the unconscious, well done, thank you for sharing the truth with me. Now, sometimes it can get worse. And the reason it gets worse sometimes is because you've hit a much deeper issue that needs clearing. So suddenly the emotion can just suddenly come up And when it gets worse, I almost celebrate on the inside, because I know that person in another couple of minutes is going to be free from that. Sometimes it stays the same. And the reason it stays the same is because we haven't got the specific phrases of that person. That's the reason why it stays the same. Or we haven't got enough detailed information about what's really going on for them. And many of the time it gets better. So these are the 7 steps of EFT, and I'm going to do another group demonstration. Now, at this stage, I don't teach the top of the head. I teach the top of the head later on in the process. Like I teach the top of the head when I'm working with something known as a limiting belief, and when we want to embed a positive in. Now on YouTube, you'll see some teachers will begin with the top of the head and some teachers will close with the top of the head. If you've learned it with someone and you want to do it that way, it's up to you. The only reason I don't is I've studied the science. There's over 1,000 meridians here on the crown. And it's a very sensitive point. And so what I don't want to do is to tap on the top of the head and use a lot of negative phrasing. And the teacher I learned it from, I teach it at an advanced level when we're doing more positive tapping and doing positive programming and programming in a new goal. And then we'll do it on the top of the head. So let's just do a little experiment right now. Go ahead and take a breath in and out. And as you take a breath in and out, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes. As you close your eyes, I want you to get a sense or knowing of what is your breathing like. I want you to notice how constricted or free your breathing is. How constricted or free your breathing is. And I want you to give a measure for it for yourself, where 10 is really constricted breathing and tight and tense and not freely flowing, and where 1 is like freely flowing breathing. And I want you to write in chat for me. I want you to write in chat for me, what number is your breathing at? Is it at a 10? Is it at a 1 or somewhere in between? I can see some 7s, 8, 7, 2, 5, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 2, 4, 10, 2, 7, 4, but shallow. Thank you for sharing, Rashi. 7, 8, 4, 3, 55. Thank you, Tripti, for sharing. 4, 7, 1, 5, 2, 5, 1, 5, 8, 7, 7, 5, 5, 1, 3. So I've got a very good range. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Now, let's do the experiment. I want you to start tapping here. And I want you to say out loud, even though my breathing might be tight.
My breathing might be tight.
And maybe I can't even make it out.
And I maybe can't even make it out.
It may be even stopping in between.
It may be even stopping in between.
Or it may be okay.
Or it may be okay.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
My breathing
may
be tight.
Maybe tight.
Maybe it's constricted.
Maybe it's constricted.
Maybe it's not deep enough.
Maybe it's not deep enough.
My breathing. What if I could breathe more freely?
What if I could breathe more freely?
Suppose somehow my chest could relax.
My chest could relax.
What if My whole body could relax.
My whole body could relax.
Suppose I could allow my body to relax now.
Suppose I could allow my body to relax now.
Allowing my body
Allowing my body
to relax now.
to relax now.
Even though
Even though
my breathing might be tight,
my breathing might be tight,
that's okay.
that's okay.
I choose to relax anyway.
I choose to relax anyway.
And as you take a breath in and out, I want to invite you to test again. And I want you to write for me in chat, did it get worse? Put a W. Did it stay the same? Put an S. Did it get better? Put a B for me in chat. So I want you to see how many B's there are in chat, by the way. And I did what is known as non-specific tapping. I can see there are about 20% S's as well, which is what I would expect, is sometimes it is an S2, because we need to just get really specific. Now the S's, I want you to write for me in chat what's still remaining. Burping is good, by the way. Burping is excellent because it's letting the gas out, letting the toxicity out in the body. The ones who are S's, I want you to write for me what is same. And the ones who are B's, I want you to let me know what's better. Write for me your specific words that's better. So some of you are coughing, that's okay. Sleepy is normal, by the way, because you know what happens is EFT reduces cortisol. If cortisol is on, how many of you have sleep issues, for example? Cortisol is on, you can't sleep that much. Sleepy is like, oh God, finally, you know, I can sleep, I can rest. It's a good thing. Yawning is good. I would say yawn, absolutely yawn. Some of you are saying it's magically improved, deeper breath. Okay, Ashwin, everything is the same. Can you write for me what exactly is the same? I want to know exactly what's the same. Can breathe more fully, still a bit tight. Yeah, Jasmine, thank you for sharing, still a bit tight. Excellent. Deep breath and burping as I close my eyes. Yes, you can tap on one point, Kanchana. One point is completely okay. And the reason tapping on one point is completely okay is because sometimes there is one point that releases the particular issue. So just flow with your intuition. Yawning, relax. So I'll just do a second round of tapping for the S's, okay? And just follow along with me, Atisha, even though it feels better.
It feels better.
And I can breathe more freely.
And I can breathe more freely.
I can't believe it feels better so quickly.
I can't believe it feels so better so quickly.
And maybe for some of us, it feels the same.
And maybe for some of us, it feels the same.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I welcome it being same too.
I welcome it being same too.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Really sleepy.
Really sleepy.
So much yawning.
So much yawning.
Really sleepy.
Really sleepy.
So much yawning.
So much yawning.
Really sleepy.
Really sleepy.
So much yawning.
So much yawning.
Feels better.
Feels better.
Might be the same.
Might be the same.
That's okay.
That's okay.
What if I could let my breathing do its own thing?
I could let my breathing do its own thing.
And I could allow my thoughts to melt.
And I could allow my thoughts to melt.
Just like butter on a hot summer's day.
Just like butter on a hot summer's day.
I could allow my thoughts to melt.
I could allow my thoughts to melt.
And I could feel that melting in my breathing now.
And I could feel that melting in my breathing now.
And I want you to hold this point with all of us together. This is known as the 9 gamut point, the 9 gamut point. And when you hold this point, it releases a past memory and it also releases tension. And just hold it and breathe in and out.
Tita! Cup.
Lovely. Check in with yourself, check in with your breathing, notice how it feels. Write for me in chat. Is it better than before? B, is it the same? S, is it worse? W. And just notice how that feels just by doing some very non-specific tapping. Okay. Experience with EFT when they come on training. And then I'll do some more demonstrations after that as well. And we had this gentleman, Dr. Rajesh, come to our training in Mumbai. He was a naturopath. And he came on stage because I teach physical tension in the morning on day 1 itself. And in 20 minutes, his 9-year-old back pain released. And then he went on to work with his own patients, and he combined naturopathy with EFT, where what he found in one session, his patients were 70 to 90% free from the physical pain. Now, he was aware about EFT beforehand, and he had learned it on YouTube and learned it casually. But what he wasn't aware of was how to use it with physical tension. So when he got to learn those steps, he could release not only his, he could also help his clients release theirs too. This is Sejal Mehta. She's a counselor in Mumbai, and she's a trainer as well. And she had fibromyalgia. And she attended training on day 1, where I also teach something known as Tell the Story, where we work on the past story. And she went through the motions. She felt okay, you know, just a normal training day. And then she went home. And what I taught on day 1, she used it on herself, and she used it on the fibromyalgia. And she, for her, uncovered a root cause. And when she came in the next day, she said the 7 to 8 months of fibromyalgia has gone, now that she knew how to actually release that in a step-by-step method. This was Dr. Purnima, who came on our free training in Mumbai. And her husband had forcibly taken her there, who was a medical doctor, because she had swelling or edema in her legs. And she was shocked to find that at the end of the introductory seminar, her edema and her swelling came down. Her husband then professionally attended EFT training and would leave a prescription for her at home on the days that he was on EFT training, so her children could perform the technique with her 5 times a day. This was Avni. She came on our training in the United Kingdom. And after learning EFT, she found she shed 20 kgs in weight in 12 weeks. Now, I want you to understand, EFT did not help her lose the weight. What EFT did is it helped her become motivated and commit. There are some people who come where it helps them reduce the weight and the craving. It's a very physical response. In her case, she's like, I was so motivated to do it. And she went into like heavy lifting training and athletics. And these were her before and after pictures. This was Daisy, who came on training in Mumbai. She was a working mom, and her son's grades were not doing so well. And she had learned EFT with me, and she tried to introduce EFT to her son, but he was not interested in knowing anything about it. And so very, very slowly and gently, she opened up with her son about her own story. So beautifully she did it. And then her son opened up to her as well, and she got to use EFT with him. And then what they both found were his son's grades improved. In fact, we have a dentist as well, Kavita Rugadi, who has also used EFT with her child. and found that the child performed better after doing EFT. And she used the technique that she had learnt in training. This was Emma from the UK. Now, I've received hate mail from Emma's son, by the way. And the reason I received hate mail from Emma's son is Emma came the first year to EFT training. She stopped having Galaxy, the chocolate bar. And her son's like, dear Rangana, because of you, my mother no longer orders chocolate cake for my birthday. I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, okay? Oh God. Anyway, mom comes back the second year, she says, I want to repeat training. I got such a good experience, you know? And I'm like, your son's gonna write hate mail to me. She says, it's okay, I'll handle it. And she let go of her biscuit craving, and that caused an even bigger fuss from her son, by the way. And then she was able to fit into a much smaller dress size as a result as well. This was Sri Kumar, who came in on training in Delhi. And he said that he'd never attended a training where he could cut through 28 years of emotional pain, and his was complete emotional pain. And he's a breathtaking, you know, corporate trainer. He comes from such a deep spiritual place, and he said there was just something happened in the way the process and the technique, the way it was performed on him, that he could just cut through years of pain. This was Smita, who it's probably in Cambodia right now, but I met her in Bangalore. And she's a counselor as well. She counsels people. And I felt so sad when she shared with me the first time. She said, Rangana, I'm just existing. I don't feel happy. And I had no idea what was going to happen, because I can't promise someone you're going to feel happy after training. And then she wrote to me a month later, and she said, I've never felt this happy in my life. And we have so many people, even our practitioners on the group, they'll get these WhatsApp messages from the client, feel so happy. I've never felt so happy in my life. This was Sadhana. This was such a beautiful story. She was from Iran originally, and she'd come to Rishikesh to learn yoga. And she did EFT, and she didn't specifically work on any problem. She just worked with emotions every day. And then she came back 9-10 months later. I was in Delhi again, giving an introductory seminar at Zorba the Buddha. And Sadhana said something so interesting. She said, I opened the old box of photographs from my childhood in Iran, and I no longer felt bad as I looked at all those pictures of that trauma, that grief, that loss. In fact, we also have a student in Bali. Her name's Elsa. And I do send you an email about it afterwards, but I feel like sharing it with you. Is she would be scared of balloons. And on day 2, when I teach memory work, she's like, don't mention balloon, don't talk to me about balloon. She's a Balinese girl, okay? And she would never go to kids' parties in case the balloon would pop. And we went back into the memory of the association of the balloon sound. And she was a young kid in East Timor. And she was hiding underneath the house, because the houses in Southeast Asia are up on these stirrups. And she was hiding there as the gunshot was going on, and members of her friends and family were being shot down. And she associated the sound of the gunshot with the sound of the balloon popping. So there was no way she ever wanted to hear the sound of a balloon popping, because it reminds her of that horror of where she had to watch people not only being gunned down, but she had to witness people being hung right in front of her. In fact, in one of the studies on PTSD, there was a gentleman from Vietnam, and his boss put a gun to his head and said, shoot these kids now. You shoot these kids now. And he said, I'm not shooting children. I refuse to shoot children. I'm not doing it. He said, you don't do this. I have a gun pointed at your wife right now, back in the United States. You do this right now. And he did it to save his family. He said, you cannot shoot yourself. If you shoot yourself, your family will die. And he lived with the hell of what he did, and he was never sure he would come out of it. And again, with him, it was memory work, you know, where you go back to the memory, you uncover the memory, you work with the memory, little piece by little piece by little piece. And then he could tell me the whole story of that terrible horror back then and somehow find peace and somehow reconnect with himself and forgive himself what happened. I just have a few more before I do the next demonstration, a little bit more to share with you. So we can have surface symptoms, and then we can have a deeper root cause. Example in my case of a surface symptom was my daily headaches where I felt helpless. And my deeper root cause was I must not feel helpless because I had an ego that I must be strong, I must get dad's approval, I cannot say no, I must prove myself. And this deeper root cause was basically putting me into an early grave. With EFT, I was able to uncover the deeper root cause, clear it, and then I found that I no longer had my daily headaches. So I want to do a couple of demonstrations right now, okay? For these demonstrations, what I want you to do is I want you to scan your body. I want you to scan your body. And as you scan your body, I want you to notice if there's any physical tension anywhere in the body. If there's any physical tension anywhere in the body. And if you notice any physical tension anywhere in the body, I want you to give it a number on a scale of 1 to 10. So I've just done step 1 with you, and I'm specifically asking you to scan your body. And I want you to write in chat the part of the body and the number. The part of the body and the number. Good. Great. Lovely. Lovely. Thank you so much. The part of the body and the number. So that's the second part. Now, the next part is we'll start tapping on that. Okay. So I will tap with a few of you, and then the rest of you tap along, and we'll notice what happens with everybody's physical tension or pain. So Mitsuko, would you be willing to work with me right now? Mitsuko, would you be willing? Can you unmute if you'd be willing to work with me right now?
Sure.
You're okay to work with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Mitsuko, so tell me the part of the body and what number it's at.
This is kind of chronic.
Chronic pain here?
Tapping.
Yeah, chronic
Yes,
pain here. Yeah. Thank you. You've described it beautifully. I love the way Mitsuko did that. You know, chronic pain here. She's really clear. It's in this area. Give me the number now freshly. Give me the number now freshly.
I'd say 7.
7. Thank you. Does it have a color? Does it have a color?
Brownish red.
Brownish red. Okay, thank you so much. Let's just do some very simple rounds there. Mitsuko, if I ever say anything or ask you a question that you don't want to answer, just say, I'm not going to answer, okay? I want you to know it's completely okay, and we'll just see what happens, okay? So even though I have this tension, so back of the neck, back of the shoulders, is that how I describe it?
It's more the top of the shoulder blade.
Top of the shoulder blade, and this is which side of your body?
I think it's both.
Both. It's the top of my shoulder blade, and it's a brownish color.
Yes, top of the shoulder blade, brownish, reddish color.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Top of the shoulder blade.
Top of the shoulder blade.
It's a brownish, reddish color.
Brownish, reddish color.
It's a number.
It's a number.
What number would you give it now?
Oh, 7.
It's a number 7. This tension in my shoulders.
This tension in my shoulders.
The upper part.
The upper part.
This brownish, reddish color.
This brownish, reddish color.
this tension behind me,
This tension behind me.
this brownish reddish color.
This brownish reddish color.
And it's like in a specific point, yeah? You like showed me a specific point.
Mm-hmm.
What name would you give that point?
Name?
Yeah. What is it,
Meaning-
like near the shoulder blade?
It is, yes, it's right on the shoulder blade.
Right on the shoulder blade.
The edge of the
Edge of the shoulder. So come back here, even though it's on the edge of the shoulder blade.
It's on the edge of the shoulder blade.
It's a brownish red color.
A brownish red color.
It makes me feel.
It makes me feel stuck.
Stuck, thank you. I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Makes me feel stuck.
Makes me feel stuck.
Brownish red color.
Brownish red color.
Makes me feel stuck.
Makes me feel stuck.
Brownish red color.
Brownish red color.
Just makes me feel stuck.
Just makes me feel stuck.
It's stuck right in the shoulder blade.
Stuck right in the shoulder blade.
On both sides.
More on the left side now.
More on the left side. So it's not so much on both sides now. Very good. And I love the way you were checking that, testing that. More on the left side now. Good. So let's test right now. Take a breath in, a gentle breath in and out. Take a sip of water.
I don't have it, but
okay, we'll just take a breath in and out. Okay, just take a breath in and out. Check in with your, the back of the shoulders. What number would you give it right now? Describe it to me. How does it feel?
I really don't notice it much on the right side now, where I did have it earlier, right here.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, on the left side, it seems like it moved down.
Yeah, absolutely. It moves down. This is known as chasing the pain. So when the energy starts moving in the body, this is known as chasing the pain, and it moves down. In fact, everybody else on chat, you can measure yours. Some of yours would have gone, by the way, and some of yours will be the same, better or worse. You can do an update. So let's work on the gone down part, this moved down. So I want you to focus on that part, and I want you to give it a number and give it a color right now. Give it a number and a color.
An orange 6.
It's an orange color.
6.
Orange color. And how does it make you feel?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. Thank you. Orange color, frustrated. What's the number?
6.
6. Thank you. Orange color, frustrated, number 6. I'm going to tap on that. Even though it's gone down a bit.
It's gone down a bit.
It's orange color.
It's orange color.
It makes me feel frustrated.
That makes me feel frustrated.
And say the number again for me. It's a number?
6.
6. I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Orange color.
Orange color.
Make me feel frustrated.
Makes me feel very frustrated.
Very frustrated. Yeah.
Very frustrated.
Number 6.
Number 6.
All this frustration in my back.
All this frustration in my back.
Very frustrated.
Very frustrated.
So frustrated in my back.
I don't know why, but feeling so frustrated.
Yeah, lovely. So I'm going to begin here because that's a new aspect. I love that you brought that up. Even though I just don't know why.
Can I say something too?
Please tell me.
Now it's moved from here to kind of over here.
Yeah, this is normal.
Other side of the shoulder blade.
Lovely. Has it got the same color or is it a different color?
Maybe Oh, I still feel it here too. This is orange brown, and here it's orange.
Ah, lovely. Even though it's still orange brown here,
Even though it's still orange brown here,
and it's orange here,
and it's orange here,
and it makes me feel frustrated,
and I feel frustrated.
and it's moving,
It's moving.
and I have no idea why I have this frustration.
I have no idea why I have this
I
frustration.
love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
It's moving.
It's moving.
I have no idea why it's moving.
I have no idea why it's moving.
I have no idea why I have this frustration. You do? Maybe? Have you ever felt frustrated?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I felt stuck in childhood. Maybe I felt frustrated in childhood.
Let's just play with that. Even though
Even though
maybe I felt stuck in childhood.
maybe I did feel stuck in childhood.
Maybe I did feel frustrated in childhood.
Maybe I did feel frustrated in childhood.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Frustrated
Frustrated
in childhood.
in childhood.
Maybe I was a bit stuck.
Maybe I was a bit stuck.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. And I want you to close your eyes for a moment and bring that past you from your childhood into your awareness. And I want you to ask her, what does she want from you for her to feel relaxed? What does she want from you for her to feel relaxed?
I'm feeling a little emotional right now.
Ah, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah, so we're going to tap under the eye now. I'm going to use both hands. Just a little bit emotional.
Yeah.
I just feel emotional.
Just feeling emotions.
I'm just feeling emotion.
Just feeling emotions.
Just a little emotion.
Just a little emotions. And
That's
I think
okay.
to answer your question, I think the little girl was wanting to be comforted.
Oh, how lovely. So you can close your eyes again and you can just give her comfort and tell her, I love you and I comfort you and I'm here for you and I love you and I comfort you and I'm here for you. Good. Well done. So when someone gets a little emotional, we do this triple point calm where we tap under the eye, collarbone, under the arm. It's perfectly natural. And this is a very safe and easy way where you can tap. Okay. Mitsuko, go ahead and check your back now. How does it feel?
It's definitely less. Over here, I don't feel it much, maybe a 1 or 2. Over here on the top side of the scapula, the shoulder blade, I think it's maybe a 4 or 3.
Yeah, 4 or 3. And if you were to go and investigate what's the color in the 4 or 3, what would it be?
Orange,
and while she's
yellow.
doing that, go ahead and write in chat for yourselves. Is your physical tension that you worked with, is that the same as before, worse than before, and better? Yeah, Mitsuko, you are doing so beautiful. Thank you, Rashi, for writing that. She's doing so incredibly. So everyone else test as well. And Mitsuko, give me the color in that part of the body.
Yes, yellowish orange.
Yeah, and if that part of the body could speak to you, what might it say? If that part of the body could speak to you, what might it say?
I think it's saying thanks for the attention.
Oh, how lovely, even though it's a 3 or a 4.
It's a 3 or 4.
It's a yellowish color.
It's a yellowish color.
And it's saying, thank you for the attention.
And it's saying, thank you for the attention.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
Thank you for the attention.
Thank you for the attention.
That's a yellowish color.
Yellowish color.
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Thank you for the attention.
Thank
Good. Great. Natsuko, how are you feeling now?
I feel calm.
Yeah.
I feel like a little release.
Yeah.
It feels
Beautiful.
different.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And from this short little demonstration we had, what's your learning insight for you?
That tapping, I feel like it really connects us. It gives us an opportunity to talk with our body, to communicate with our body, to be more integrated.
Thank you so much, Masuko. I really appreciate you spending this time with us. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely. So I'll take some questions right now. So if someone has questions, can you put the questions in chat for me? And some of you, your pain has also increased. I'll also answer your questions as well. So Sadhana,
Hello, ma'am. Can I ask
one
you?
by one. Just wait. If Sadhana can unmute first. Sadhana, can you unmute? And just add Sadhana to
Hi, Rangana.
for me. Hi, Sadhana. I'm going to remove my self-spotlight so we can see you.
Okay.
Great. Sadhana, can you put your video on, please? Just put your video on so I can see you. Yeah?
My
Can't see Sadhana right now. I'll ask someone else. Shalini as a Veli. Can you unmute? Okay. What's your? Is it Nimish? Who's that? So that can you just help? Just get me one person. Yeah. Nimish, what's your question?
Ma'am, I'm suffering with blood cancer. Recently, it has been detected on 15th of November itself.
Yes. So what's your question?
Sir, how to get rid of that?
Blood cancer.
Yeah.
So firstly, what I can't do is say to you how to get rid of it, just like your doctor couldn't, because that would lack a lot of integrity on my part. What I can say, though, is that if you have any emotions, because sometimes when there's a diagnosis, there's an emotion about the diagnosis. How did this happen? What happened? I can't believe it's happened. So, either work with a professional or learn the EFT process to tap on that emotion as a result of the diagnosis is what I would say. Then the second part I would say is to explore with a professional if there are any past anger there or suppressed emotions.
Yeah,
and
there
to be able
are.
to use, so I would definitely ask you to use the EFT tapping process. And I would say I want someone to work with you. It's just like, if I've got cancer, I'm going to a medical doctor to help me with it, someone who's professionally trained, has the experience. Similarly, I want you to work work in a structured self-healing process where you can work with each emotion day by day by day by day to help you release it. And then the third step I would recommend is to explore if there's any beliefs. Sometimes with cancer, there can be beliefs like death vows or, मुझे जीने का नहीं, मैं suicide करूँ, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. They can be very deep, depressing, dark thoughts. And sometimes they can be casual. One of mine was when I was very little, I was in Mumbai. Baba wouldn't let me go to party because he was being a good dad. He didn't want me to be hurt. And I remember standing on the ledge. I was like, I might as well die. And I didn't really mean it. Sometimes we can say them unconsciously. So Nimish, what I would definitely say is make sure you send a private message to Sudha. Or Sudha, can you make a note of Nimish? And I'll have someone speak to you one-to-one next week. And just talk to you about a specific situation. Good. Who else am I speaking with next? Who else?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I wish you so much health and vitality Wish you so much health and vitality. And what you can do on yourself, Nimish, every day, because you've attended this seminar, is, and I'll give you a link afterwards, is tap on yourself every day, you know, even though, you know, I may have got angry, because you mentioned the anger. I love and accept myself. You know, I may have got angry, this past anger, all the times I felt angry, I felt so angry. And I would just tap on that. I'll do this tantrum tapping every day, 5 times a day, as often as you can, to just release it out of the system, okay? Next is, who else is going to unmute and have a conversation with me? Just unmute and speak to me, please.
Hello,
Yeah,
hello.
Michael, yeah. People, if you're going to unmute and speak to me, I want to see your videos. I'm not going to speak to you. So
May I speak, Rangana?
yeah, who do I have? Neha.
Yes.
Can I have one at a time? Just Neha right now, please. Next person, just wait. So that I just really need your help to like monitor it. Yeah. Tell me, what's your question? Neha, what's your question?
There's a lot of heaviness I'm feeling in the heart right now. So could you tell me anything, suggest me anything?
So Neha, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When did the heaviness begin? What happened in your life? What happened in your life?
Yeah, something very, very traumatic happened.
And have you worked on it? Have you explored it?
Yeah, I've been talking to people like verbally, so it has helped. But physically,
I want you to do more than talk about it, Neha. I want you, and because deep trauma, you know, that's like minimum 6 sessions. I'm being really honest with you, because I want you to be free from it. I stand by the data I've shown you, and I can put my hand on heart and say, you're going to feel better, because the kind of thing you've had happen to you, and it feels like something happened. Someone did something to you. It was very traumatic. It was terrible. It should never have happened. It feels like you're not in your power. You've given your power away. You feel lost. You overanalyze. You can't move forward in life. You're not focusing. I feel your pain inside and out, Neha. So that is going to make a note of your name. I'll have someone call you next week. But I either want you to work professionally with someone, or, for example, next year in January for 21 days, I have a program, a 21-day program where for 2 hours every day, we tap on a different emotion, from anger to sadness to fear to hurt to guilt. If you're available, I want you to come on that program to help you, because you've just got to work through it step by step by step by step. I want you to breathe for me, breathe in and out. I can tell you feel relieved that someone actually really understood you. Yeah. When the tension comes, I want you to just do this. Ah. But I want you to professionally work with one of our practitioners as well. Ah. Stay with me though, Neha, not head back. I want you to stay with me. I want you to be in your body. I want you to engage with me. Look at me in your body, engage with me. Don't disconnect, because something happened really bad in your life and you've developed a disconnection strategy. I want you to be here, be in your body, be here right now. Do it with me. Good. Stay in your body, breathe for me, Neha. Stay in your body, breathe for me. Great. Thank you. Breathing out. Thank you, Neha. I hope I've answered your question. Michael, can you unmute with your video?
Yes. Hi.
And then after Michael, I'll have Dr. Anita Coco ready. Yeah. Neha, Michael, tell me what's your question.
I wanted to know, how do you do it for somebody else? Maybe somebody who's hospitalized and not, they can't
So
do
for someone who's hospitalized, what I teach our students in the practitioner training is to work what is known as surrogately. So there's 2 different ways you can work surrogately. One is where you step into that person's world and you breathe like that person and you feel like that person and you tap on yourself as if you are that person. That's the first way. The second way is you describe what's happening for that person. So say, for example, they're in coma. Even though they're in coma, their nervous system is shutting down, they're not engaging with life, they're still a good person. I use surrogate tapping also with children, and I use surrogate tapping also with animals as well. Did I answer your question, Megal?
Yes, that's what I wanted to know.
Great, thank you so much. Good. Who else next? Dr. Anita, can you unmute and come forward?
Yes.
Lovely to finally meet you, Dr. Anita. I'm so glad you
Yes.
could make this. What's your question, Dr. Anita?
Yeah, hello everybody. My question is that a lot of people have high risk factors for certain diseases, but they haven't developed the diseases yet. So is there any way in which EFT can help prevent the onset of the disease or the manifestation of the disease?
So all the clinical data would indicate yes, okay? So the clinical data would indicate that, you see, but how do we measure someone not having got a disease? Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, it's measuring something that's not existing and doesn't manifest, so we never know. But the clinical data would indicate if you have early childhood upsets, that can lead to disease. Clinical data indicates that if you can go to the early childhood with EFT, you can clear it, the disease can be reversed as well in the future. So we know, and I think it's harder to actually reverse disease than it is to prevent disease. I think to prevent disease is a lot easier. And so if it can reverse disease, then I believe it can prevent disease too. But the main thing is it's not working directly on the disease, okay? So I also believe in an integrative approach where if someone has got a medical label, I want them to go to their medical professional. I want them to go to their doctor. I want them to get a good diagnosis. And I want them to choose what they want. Some decide they're not using medicine and they're only going to use emotional therapy. That's up to them. And some decide they want to use emotional therapy with medical therapy together. Now, the other reason emotional therapy becomes important, for example, we have people going in for surgery. So this is not disease, but they've got an illness and they're going in for surgery. And they learn EFT, they use EFT on themselves to have their body in a peak emotional and mental state. Because the studies have shown that if you're in a peak emotional and mental state, and the studies have been done on finger cuts, where the fingers were cut, the person was not in a peak emotional state, it took longer to heal. And studies showed finger was cut, they were in a peak emotional state, the finger healed a lot faster. The finger's going to heal for all of us if we cut it. If we fall down and break our knee, it's going to heal for all of us. So that's the other thing I know with EFT, is it can help people for surgery. Did I answer your question, Dr. Anita?
What I was looking at was what I've understood from your answer is that unless a person has a manifestation, it is not easy for us to sort of gauge.
But that is not easy for anybody to gauge. Like if you're talking about breast cancer, for example, so someone can have a tumor cell marker, right? That says you are predisposed to breast cancer. They may manifest with breast cancer. They may never manifest with breast cancer, right? One of the things the study has shown, though, that if you have unforgiveness or anger, you use a technique like EFT on it, you don't get breast cancer. We know that.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Anita.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Hi. So I had two things. One is that if I'm working, my mother's hospitalized right now as we talk. Okay. And the same feelings, what you resonated with what you shared in the beginning of that emotional thing. But right now I have a question that, can I tap on her? One, physically if I'm with her, and if she doesn't want to tap, one, can I do that?
Have you been trained in how to tap on another person?
No.
Then I would say no. I would say get trained properly in how to tap on another person, because if you don't learn how to do it, what can happen is the other person can suddenly have something known as an ab reaction, or suddenly a very intense emotional reaction where they can go into panic and overwhelm, and that doesn't support them. So if you want to tap on somebody else, I would first say learn how to tap on somebody else, and then by all means tap on that other person, either directly or surrogately.
So I can always consult a professional and ask them to help my mother, right? I mean,
Yes,
a team
you
of.
can also consult a professional and ask them to help a mother. And if you want, we can have that conversation with you next week.
Yes.
Prapti.
Okay, and another thing, Rangana. So I've realized, I've just finished my counseling course. I'm a counselor now, but what I've realized, because I'm such a self-aware individual, that the situation doesn't impact me much as the feeling, the trauma of helplessness. So it's actually not that my mother's in the hospital, which is the issue. The feelings what I go through, that feeling of incapacity, the feeling of helplessness, the feeling of dealing with this again, though I've dealt with it so many times. I've dealt with it, come out of it, whether it's at work, whether it's my mom, but I try to avoid the suffering in order to not go through the trauma of helplessness.
I understood what you're sharing.
I've worked on it. I've been aware consciously, very vigilant about my feelings, very aware, but somewhere I still feel so stuck. I still feel so deadlocked. And after doing so much, and after wondering what all is happening, why do I feel so stuck, and how can I deal with this through EFT?
So what I would normally recommend for someone like you is EFT as the foundation, but I would recommend inner child work, where EFT is a start point, and I teach something known as inner child matrix,
Yes,
which is the next level of EFT, where we go, I get you to close your eyes, and I'd get you to connect with that past you, the little Prapti, and I'd get you to ask her. And you just tap on yourself while I do the questions right now. You're completely safe. You're okay, Prapti. And I love the way you have this incredible wisdom about you. And I'd get you to connect with her and bring her into your heart. And I'd get you to say to her, even though you are so scared of feeling helpless, I love you. I'm here for you. I love you. I'm here for you. You felt so helpless. You felt really helpless. You felt so helpless. I want you to hold her, Prapti. I want you to hug her. I want you to hold her in your arms. And I want you to hug her. And I want you to ask her, what does she want from you now? What does she want from you now? What does she want from you now?
Being more confident.
Be more confident. Yeah. I want you to get her to breathe in confidence and calm. Breathe in confidence and calm. Good. Well done. Beautiful. Prapti, I'd love one of our coaches to have a conversation with you next week about this and how else we can support you, because I can tell psychologically you understand so much, and I love the way you connected, and clearly counseling is your place, your home, your center, because you understand it deeply, and you also understand the underlying pattern. You get the difference between the surface behavior and what's really going on. And I'd love someone just to connect with you and just to see if there's any other way we can support you, Prapti. I wish you so much love. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Good.
Hi, Rangana.
Hi, Rangana.
Hi, who do I have here? Who do I have?
Hi.
Hi, Rangana. Yeah, hi.
Hello.
Hi, Rangana.
Hello.
Thank you so much for
So
this
that will move
session.
the person I'm meant to be speaking with in Spotlight, so then I know who that person is. She'll just move the person. So it's just a lot easier for me, so she can see you and move. Lovely. So I'm with Vertica. How do I pronounce your name? Vertica? Vertica Bish?
Vertika.
Vertica.
Yes. All right. So thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for having this webinar. I had no idea what EFT was. But then as the universe conspires, since the time I saw your invite for the webinar, I have heard many people mention this. And before that, I had no clue what this was. So thank you so much for opening up a completely new chapter for me.
Yeah.
I have a question. on whether I understand the physical ailments can be helped, cured with EFT. What about something at a very different level in terms of procrastination? I have been procrastinating like forever. I need to get back into the job market, and I just keep finding excuses to not even start an attempt. And so I really don't know. I am so stuck, and I have no reason for why I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Is there some way I can, if you could help me with it?
EFT can definitely help with procrastination. In fact, it's really easy to work with procrastination with EFT. It's actually easier than the physical ailments and the physical tension. Now, what's going on with procrastination is something I call secondary gain. Secondary gain. So the type of questions I would want to ask you is, what is it that you're procrastinating? Number one. Number two, I want to know from you, what's the worst that will happen if you continue to procrastinate? Tell me, what's the worst that would happen if you continue to procrastinate?
Our lifestyle has obviously gone down in this. Yes, it is a job, and it will have a major impact on us financially.
Yeah.
Lifestyle has anyways gone down due to this COVID, and with me not getting back into the work market, I've been off work 5 years now. It is now the impact is really showing, and we might have to just kind of leave the bar.
How will it make you feel?
Oh, it made me feel terrible, terrible. My children are, yeah, exactly. My children are at a stage where we need to be really in abundance of finances. And if this is an absolute wrong time, so I feel very frustrated. I've not been a good partner to my husband. And it just doesn't, it just kind of takes away the purpose of life for me. So I need to do something, but I'm so stuck.
Lovely, I got
I'm
it.
just
The
not
next
doing
question
anything.
I would ask you is, how will your life change for the better when you're unstuck and you're no longer procrastinating? How will your life change for the better when you're unstuck and no longer procrastinating?
So, if I'm no longer procrastinating, obviously I'll be more confident. I will be more independent because I will be financially independent, and I'm sure I'll have my husband's respect
Lovely.
back.
Doing really great. Let me ask you the next question, which is, how does the procrastination benefit you? How does the procrastination help you?
Yeah, I keep thinking about it. I really don't have an answer to that because everything else in the house keeps pulling me towards it.
Thank you.
And
If you were
the
to
little
step
time
out-
I need.
Thank you, that's enough.
Sorry.
If you were to step out of your comfort zone, what would you have to face emotionally?
I will have to cut out. I will have to probably stop being in my housewife mode.
Lovely. And what would you
where
have to
everybody.
face emotionally? What would you have to face emotionally?
It would be very tough to say no or to set limits.
Thank you so much. You are absolutely fabulous. I've got to the root already. It's all around this, which is the discomfort. And so with you, I would want you to have someone work with you to unravel this particular discomfort or this doubt that you have at a deep structure. Because once you do that, procrastination is not even in play. And some of our advanced practitioners are trained how to do this because we're working with something known as secondary gain. So I actually feel you can be free from procrastination, 100%. Hand on heart, very easy to do.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And one other question. Obviously, in these times, I am struggling, and so is my husband, and I can feel it that sometimes he is very frustrated, which is very natural. Is there something I can do to help him? Because he's not going to believe in all these
Number one,
things.
does your husband want to be helped?
No.
So you do nothing. Do not do anything to help him because it's a disaster.
He's probably not even aware he has a problem.
I would do nothing. Thank you so much, Vertika. I want to share a couple of more things, and I'm going to come back and answer the rest of the questions. They're really great questions. I'm super impressed by the group. Because some of you are writing, does it work for this? Does it work for this? I'm just going to give you some more examples. So this was Uma. She came to our seminar in Bangalore, and she was a software engineer, and she was scared of speaking in public. She did the session live in class, and she stood up in class and she overcame a fear of public speaking, which for her as a software engineer was really important, because in the workplace, she has to stand up in front of other members of the team and speak. This is an example of Shalini in the UK that had panic attacks. And for her, we did a particular finger hold based on Japanese medicine that I teach during EFT level 1. And she said that time seemed to freeze and fear melted away. She couldn't travel on the metro and the underground because her panic attacks were so severe. And with EFT, she was able to freely travel on the underground as well as on the trains and buses as well. This is another example of a seminar I did in Lanzarote in Spain. Marie had a fear of confined spaces. And so with her, someone else in class worked with her. Her name is Sidra Jaffrey. In fact, she was also in Mumbai. She was one of my students, but sadly she passed over. And Sidra worked with Marie, and Marie got in the cupboard in the training room, and we closed the door of the cupboard. And for Marie, the root cause was she had a fear of small little lanes in Spain, just like we have in Benares as well. This was Apurva, who came on our training in Delhi, and she had thyroid, and she did EFT training, she did inner child matrix training, and then she just used the technique on herself. And as she used the technique on herself, she sent me a message that the thyroid has been reversed and she no longer has thyroid. And one of my prayers is to have even more practitioners trained, because PCOS and thyroid and metabolism is a really big issue in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, in India, in United States, in Europe. And I'd love more people to learn like an alternate way where they don't have to take the thyroxine every single day. There are so many different examples on what EFT has been used on, from anxiety to auto accidents, to boredom, to claustrophobia, to limiting beliefs, to love pain, to panic attacks, to self-image. Sexual abuse is really powerful for sexual abuse, for domestic violence, for example. Some of you may be with charities, associated with charities as well in this area. War memories, weight loss, and of course, a whole load of phobias. We have people in training. Donnie, who you couldn't meet today, because sadly she's down with the COVID virus. Her husband yesterday, Daryl, messaged you one-to-one, by the way, privately on our college number to let you know that it's day 1 away. But she had a fear of gas cylinders, the red gas cylinders. And in 20 minutes with EFT, that fear of gas cylinders was gone for her. Now, we also have counseling psychologists who've learned EFT with us and use it professionally, and they earn a livelihood and a living from using EFT. And what they find is that it helps their clients to overcome trauma in a much shorter span of time. This is Divya, who's one of the counseling psychologists in Mumbai who uses EFT. This is Neeraj, who's a corporate trainer in Bangalore. And he has performed thousands of sessions in corporates, actually, for corporate leaders after he learned the training from me. And he said to me, Rangana, I watched YouTube, I read some of the books, but no way did I learn how to really peel away the layers and work so fast. He's like, I could be with a VP, and within 5-10 minutes with what I've learned, their fear of public speaking goes, and they are so confident. And initially they're a bit skeptical about the technique, and yet when they get the results, the skepticism doesn't really matter. And his wife also is an EFT practitioner, and she works with celebrities professionally as well. This is Anushri, who used EFT on herself as part of her own journey of self-image, and she works with other people in self-image as well. And she again finds that it's much faster and safer. We had this Father Leo who came on our training in Mumbai, and he said to me, he said, Rangana, I can spend 12 months with a client with psychotherapy. And with EFT, I'm done in 3 to 6, max 10 sessions. And he said, it's just such a gift to work so much quicker. So people find that it's quicker. They find that it's better for their lifestyle. They can see fewer patients, and they can still earn a really good amount of money. So if any of you, were exploring the practitioner aspects, these are some of the benefits you can get with learning EFT. So in summary, so far, you've learned about how stress can lead to disease and illness. You've learned how unresolved emotional upsets can cause disease. You've learned how suppressing emotions is harmful to health. You've also learned how by releasing stress and freeing suppressed emotions, you can create health and wellness. You've learned about the clinical data for EFT. You've also learned the steps to EFT, which in summary are this. So become aware, identify what are the questions, what am I feeling, where am I feeling it, get a measure for it. Even though I have this problem is the acceptance step. I love and accept myself. The next step is to clear it, is to tap on the upper body and the facial tapping points. And the final big kind of step, umbrella step, is to close it by ending it on the karate chop and then taking a breath in and out and then testing. Now, I want to share what are some of the next steps. And after I've shared some of the next steps, I will stay on for anybody that has any questions for me whatsoever. So you've got sort of three main steps. One is to refresh what we did today, because some of you have been asking me questions throughout. You're like, can I have that? Can I see that tapping sequence? Can I see that slide again? So where you will get access to a link at the end of today, and which Nidhi will send to you on the WhatsApp chat group, and you'll also receive it by email, where you will receive a copy of the manual, you'll receive a copy of the slide deck, which she will post on there when we finish this seminar, and you will also receive information about the exact tapping steps that you can use on yourself. I'll put a worksheet on there as well for you tomorrow, and I'll alert you tomorrow. So if you feel one of your next step is to refresh maybe, and you feel your next step is to read the manual, browse the manual, go through the slides, or maybe you want the replay of the video, can you put R in chat for me, please? Can you put R in chat for me? Because we will make sure then we get you the replay, because we're not providing the replay to everybody. So if you feel refresh is your next step, which is watch the replay, read the manual, get the links, then that is your next step. Now, if you feel your next step, in addition to refresh or as a standalone, is to help others, where you want to explore becoming an EFT practitioner, or you want to explore EFT training for your own personal development or to help your family members and the people in your life, can you put P in the chat, please, if you want to explore this professionally? You're already a counselor, you're a psychotherapist, or you want to develop a new career in the helping profession, put a P in chat. Because then what will happen is someone from my team will send you, will have a coaching conversation with you where you will share exactly what you want. Like he'll give your, I'm a counselor, these are the kind of patients I have, these are the results I want. And then they'll evaluate with you whether EFT practitioner is right for you or not. Because I'm doing my last training in December, which is beginning on the 14th of December. And so you and them will just have a chat about it and figure out, is this the right next step for you or not? And then they'll go through all the different modules in there. Now, if you feel your next step isn't that you want to help other people, but that you only want to really help yourself, put S. And sometimes people can be P and S, R, P and S too. Put S in the chat, okay? Where you would like to embark on a 21-day self-healing journey with myself to release negativity, doubt, to release the past, and to feel love and peace. Put an S in the chat, because I will let you know a little bit more about it. Now, if you put refresh as your next step, you're gonna get this link, and let me show you this link. Let me make sure the link is showing for you so I can explain to you exactly what is on the link. when we finish today, you're going to get this link. And on this link, you've got a manual. So if I click on get my manual, so that can you just confirm for me privately that this is visible? That this is visible, the manual is visible. Can you just give me a yes, that manual is visible privately? So you'll get this manual. And in this manual, you have the information about the celebrities using it. Then you have the information about how to address the root cause and what is actually happening with the root cause. Then you'll get the information about the clinical data that I shared with you today, so you can read up about that. Then you'll get the information about how does it actually work scientifically. Then you'll get the information about the 7 steps of the EFT process that I shared with you today. And I'm sharing with you more in the manual than I shared with you today, where step 1, you can do it on yourself. Identify the problem and you ask yourself, what am I stressed about? What is upsetting me? And so then you would make a note for yourself, the answer to the question, and you would do step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7. If anyone wants it in Hindi, can you put Hindi for me in the chat? We do have Hindi available, but you need to give me a week to get it to you because it just needs a final proofread, okay? Right now, this is in English. So you get the 7 steps. Then you get a section on stress relief through EFT. And today I taught you the triple point karma, where you tap under the eye, collarbone, and under the arm. So you'll get this information in the link. And then you'll get the information about some of the viewpoints of the therapists and the coaches and what are the different areas they've worked on. And then you'll also have the recap for all the different case studies for EFT in this manual. Now on this link, you'll also have the 7 steps here. Nidhi will add the slide deck for you at the end of today. And then those of you who have requested the replay, we will get a private link to you where you can access that replay. So whoever has put R in chat, you will get the replay. Now the 3rd step is, Nidhi, can you please get the bit link ready and send it to me in private chat if you cannot, for the feedback form. Now, I would also love your feedback and for you to fill in a feedback form, which Nidhi is putting in chat for me right now privately. Sudha, then can you put it on main chat too? I'm just waiting for that link so then I can quickly share it with everybody. I just need that link. I'll wait for the link to come and I'll move to the next part of it. Now, those of you who want to help others, this is your next step. You will get this link. And some of you are like, you know, I'm ready. I just want to explore it. I've been waiting this for years. You click on this link and then you click on this more information, book a discovery call. And as you click on that information, book a discovery call, it will open up into a calendar. And you can book, and we have like limited slots available right now. So just get on there as quickly as you can. And say if it was tomorrow, say if it was day after Tuesday, you just book a time for yourself, you confirm it, put your email ID in, and that's it. And then one of our coaches will do a call with you. Can you see the Calendly link? Can everyone see the Calendly link? So that can you give me a yes that the Calendly link can be seen? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, and so then in private, I just need that feedback form from Nidhi. So this is your 2nd step. Let me go back to sharing screen and showing you your next step. And those of you who want to work on self-healing, and that is your path, like, and you want to embark on a 21-day journey starting on the 1st of January. For the first time ever, I'm doing a 21-day EFT Tapathon, where we tap into self-love, self-healing, and personal peace. Now, I'll go through the offer in a minute because all of you, I'm going to give an offer to all of you. Now, the purpose of the 20-day program is to release the past and to create the future now. I'm going to scroll down to what I cover in the 21 days. Day one, I'll reintroduce EFT so everybody's on the same page. Then each day I'll work on a different emotion. It's only 2 hours a day from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. IST. We'll release anger, fear, sadness, hurt, guilt, loss, anxiety, worry, betrayal, resentment, frustration, irritation, powerlessness, helplessness, self-confidence, self-love, self-power. So we move in the positive emotions from day 16. So some of you have talked about helplessness today. You've talked about irritation. You've talked about anger. You'll get a chance to work on it together in like a self-healing, and it'll be like a group self-healing. It'll be much more intimate than this big group that we have right now. Joy, and then on day 21, we will integrate. This is like a New Year offering for everyone. Now, if you feel guided that you would like to join this program, Nidhi will share this link with you on the follow-up and also in chat. This program is normally 21,000 rupees, which is 1,000 rupees a day, okay? We are offering it at 10,000 rupees. And if you're really